quarterback's fault. And I get it. There are always things that could potentially happen. There are injuries that could happen, things that could derail the season. But guess what? The quarterbacks that get paid at Daniel Jones' level, they can be the difference in terms of the team being able to survive some adversity. He's going to have to prove that this year.
Chris Canty on Greeny. Bills coach Sean McDermott on the first day of training camp described the situation with Stephon Diggs as in a good spot. Diggs, in attendance, took part in the first practice of camp after missing the first 2 mandatory minicamp practices in June, which did create a little bit of drama.
Yo, it's Jay Williams. Coming up on Thursday, we continue our ESPN Radio two-a-days with the Saints. What will Derek Carr do for the Saints offense this season? And are they the team to beat in the division? 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN app, and ESPNU.
Today on the Rob Dibble Show, the Mets take game 1 of the Subway Series.
He goes again, and Alonso drills one back toward the left field wall, and it's out of here! Pete Alonso with a line drive, 3-run homer. He hit this one deep to center. Back goes Bader on the warning track at the wall, and it's out of here! Pete Alonso strikes again. His second home run of the night. He's driven in all 5, and the Mets lead at 5-0.
And now, here's Rob Dibble.
Can Gary Cohen come up with a better one than "it's out of here"? Come up with a new call deal, you know? Getting lame. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, work on it.
Big boys
blasted one. It was big boys baseball.
Listen, Alonso had a night. Mets hitters had a night on the Yankees pitchers.
Big boys.
Germán, stop throwing change-ups to these big hitters, man. You're doing them a favor. Verlander, he threw a lot of pitches, did really well. Another strong 6 innings. Showed you how a 40-year-old guy can throw fastballs by anybody, and that's what pitching is. It's location, 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 and throwing righty changeups to righty hitters cost him. Then he tried to throw a fastball by Alonso, got a hanging changeup on a slow, overweight, and out of shape hitter hitting 200 on Vogelbach, and he smoked it. But listen, I talk about this all the time. When guys are not good hitters, the last thing you do is throw off speed. The last thing you do in your repertoire, throw off speed. Make them earn it with a fastball. Fastball in, fastball out, fastball up, fastball down. You've got an assortment of locations you could throw 97, 98. Germán possesses that. Now, I don't know if it's coming from that knucklehead Matt Blake, the pitching coach that they hired out of high school because he's a sequence master. Well, your sequences suck, dude. Your pitching staff's not great. And, you know, the guy threw a perfect game against the worst team in baseball. That doesn't really amount to that much, but he's getting smoked by everybody else. And you need that guy with good stuff to get you through 6 strong innings to give you an opportunity to win. He couldn't do it. It was 6-0 by the time they got his butt out of the game and to the bench. But, I mean, listen, watching that game, I expected it to be a better pitched ball game, but it wasn't. Verlander was the guy that was doing the pitching. The other guy was doing the sequencing that's being told to him via PitchCom. And this is where the problem lies with so many guys with great stuff. They don't pitch anymore. They don't think anymore. They're robots. They're told what to throw, when to throw it. And a team that is struggling to score runs like the Mets open you up like a can of tuna. And it was embarrassing. So, and I'm sitting at home going, good. Every ball that's spanked on, I'm like, good. Keep hitting it hard. And maybe these guys will learn to challenge people with 95-plus mile-an-hour stuff. So a guy who threw a perfect game looked like a high school pitcher against the Mets last night.
Well, I think these old-timers, and I hate to say that, Verlander fits that category. And I was talking to you guys, too, watching a lot of baseball last night, watching my Cubs beat the White Sox. I was watching Kyle Hendricks, another, I wouldn't put him in the old-timer category, but definitely a veteran pitcher. I saw both those guys last night use the PitchCom as in they're initiating the call.
Right.
So Verlander's calling his pitches. Hendricks is calling his pitches. Yep. Everybody else is dealing with it. And you saw 2 great quality starts from both those guys last night. I also would like to criticize the Yankees batting. I mean, they were just, the same old. There's some guys out there that aren't even worth being in the batter's box. Higashioka against Verlander. And I know we're not going to bunt. I know that that's just out of the equation these days, but standing in the batter's box just watching strikes go by isn't going to get it done or move anybody either. Volpe is at least stealing bases. He had another one last night, but they make it hard for that guy to even steal bases,
Right.
just the way they approach the plate, and they're no threat whatsoever other than possibly hitting a long ball. That's the MO of the Yankees, has been for the last 10 years. Not going to change. We'll see if it changes tonight. Carlos Rodon, my guy, fingers crossed.
Yep.
Maybe they come back and get a win, but it was all Mets last night, offense and defense.
I told you it would take time for Verlander to get back to Verlander, and that was Verlander. I mean, he's a little bit older, and so his stuff isn't as sharp, but he's still changing speeds, keeping you off balance, and knowing that when I need a strike or I need an out, I can go to my best pitch, which is still his fastball. It might not be the best one he used to have, but he can still elevate it into the mid-90s. It's impressive to me. It's called pitching, and he knows how to pitch. He's very cerebral, and he's not intimidated by any of the. If I sat here, and this is just the and listen, Gleyber Torres can still rip the cover off a ball when he gets a hold of one, but guys like Bowers, he's a journeyman. He will be a journeyman. He's not going to be a guy that's in the starting lineup. He's exposed in the starting lineup. Stanton's hitting 204. He's got the closed stance. He's already halfway through his batting stance. And so Verlander's just challenging him with up fastballs. This guy can't catch up to that pitch. Yeah. So when as a pitcher, if I'm looking down this lineup and I'm going 218, 204, 232, 210, 220, I'm not intimidated by these guys, and I'm not going to give up big hits off of my breaking stuff. Yes, his curveball is still good, but it's not great. His changeup is good, but it's not great. But his fastball, he can still move it exceptionally well for his age. And these guys couldn't touch it. And again, when you're up there guessing, and you're up there just hoping that you're going to make contact, instead of going up there going, hey, 2 strikes, I'm putting the ball in play. That's the proper way to approach a Verlander. And if we put enough guys on, we put him in jeopardy, and we can actually get some stuff going. They could not get anything going against Verlander because that's his MO. You get a guy on, I'm going to get a ground ball, I'm going to get out of this. You get a guy on, I'm going to get a fly ball, strikeout. I mean, that's what pitching's all about, is when you get an out and you get a guy on first base, you're one pitch from getting out of it. And he's going to make you hit his pitch. And with 2 strikes, instead of these guys just putting the ball in play, trying to hit it the other way, and a stadium that is built for righties to go the other way, they are just not programmed that way. And so, I don't know what you do. I don't know who you can trade for that by sticking him next to Judge is going to generate enough offense to where, even Rizzo 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. Come on, you're better than that.
Worst year for him.
Oh, yeah.
Worst year for him.
He has adopted the approach of swing as hard as I can with 2 strikes. Swing is, and even is
it's the Yankee philosophy,
right? And so McNeil, who's having a bad year as far as average wise, he's actually hitting 325 with runners in scoring position.
Had one last night.
So he had 3 RBI last night to go with Alonso and his 5 RBI. So your 2 best hitters in that lineup made the most of their opportunities. And the thing about McNeil is, I'll take a single the other way. I'll take a single in the hole. With 2 strikes, he becomes a guy that chokes up 4 inches on the bat. And kids, that's hitting, choking up, shortening up your swing, and making contact. And so when you see guys like Germán that throw hard, all I got to do is catch 95 the other way. It's a base hit. I don't need to elevate for home runs off of a guy like Germán. Now, if he makes a mistake and I'm going for the fastball and I catch his changeup, well, that's what you saw with Alonso on his first home run. The second one was a fastball away. And what did he do? He used the ballpark to his advantage. So very, very cerebral hitting by the Mets last night. And the home team didn't do a good job of using their own ballpark.
One thing I did see in that ball game that was not unique to the Dodgers-Toronto game, your Reds versus the Brewers, my Cubs versus the White Sox, those final 9 outs. I am not going to talk about Ottavino or Robertson, who got the hold last night. Those 2 guys in between, 3 guys in between. It took them, including Robertson, 4 guys to get through 2 innings after Verlander left. Everyone is dealing with this, but the Mets more so. I think if we're talking buyer-seller situation, let's say Mets win tonight and they push more into that buyer mode, Dude, these starters are some of the best in the biz, and I think you're right. They're going to come around. They're going to be great. If this lineup can continue to play the baseball that they're capable of, the Lindors, the Alonsos, McNeil I'm not worried about, but the rest of the crew they brought in, I would say for those Mets fans that want to add a piece, it's got to be a couple of arms to get you to bridge that gap from whoever's starting into Ottavino or Robertson, because you might lose a lot of ball games that you need to win in the next couple of months to even put you in the playoffs.
I would argue that Dave Robertson's one of the best relievers I've seen in 20 years. I mean, this dude, early in his career was as good a reliever as you're going to see. Now at 38 years old, having forced to be the setup and closer guy with Ottavino because of Edwin Diaz, I would absolutely agree with you 100%. He's going to get tired at some point. Yeah. He has 3 blown saves. He's got 14 saves. So
got a bunch of holds too.
17 attempts. He's got 7 holds after last night. This guy's doing everything. He's doing yeoman's work. He's doing the 7th, 8th, 9th inning whenever you need this guy. So you could use, like the Braves just went out and got 2 relievers.
Yeah.
The Mets could definitely use somebody down there at the back end of the bullpen to help those guys. Maybe even from the left side. Maybe a nice left-handed, kind of guy down there to help them out.
I mean, one or the other. I think both arms would be very beneficial. And every team's going to be in that mode as well. We'll see what the next week brings. And we got another game tonight. It will be Carlos Rodon against Jose Quintana tonight down in the Bronx. That is a 7:05 first pitch. It will knock us off the air at 6:25 with the pregame. Braves Red Sox. There was a triple play. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Saw it. Listen, a lot of what you're going to see in the major leagues, either bad base running or, trying to do things that these guys don't practice a whole lot. That's when you get into triple play situation. I had a triple play against me the other day. I had my runner going, and a line drive to the first baseman. He's doubled up. And then my guy on third actually tagged up and tried to score on the play, and he was thrown out at the plate.
Oof.
Yes, 14U baseball. I had never seen that. Now I have.
This is Major League Baseball, and fortunately for the Red Sox, they get the win over the Atlanta Braves. That puts them to 54-47.
13-5 this month, best record in baseball.
Yeah,
so
really
congratulations.
Come off the All-Star break hot as well. So
didn't know this statistic either. 20-4 in those city whatever.
The city unis.
The city unis.
The UCLA uniforms.
Yep.
I like it.
City Connect. So your city connects are connecting with wins, 20-4.
There you go.
Not
That's
bad.
awesome. Connecting with the new bank account, Mr. Justin Herbert, guy who has not won a playoff game in the NFL, has just become the highest paid player in
Annually,
the NFL.
yes.
NFL quarterback from the Los Angeles Chargers. Just like Jaylen Brown, I'd argue, man, this guy is not even close to sniffing being the best to deserve this kind of number. However, I understand timing. Yep. I understand who his owner is. But the pressure of actually winning. If you drop a 24, 31, 40-point lead in a playoff game and you're paid that kind of coin, it's going to be a different welcoming party to when you get back to Los Angeles next time.
I mean, numbers kind of dictate this guy's got hell of a career going.
Most passing yards in the first 3 years of a career.
Yeah, 2 years ago, over 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, 15 picks. Last year, 25 TDs, 10 picks, almost 5,000 yards again. So his offense made him a lot of money. But like you just said, you got to start winning some playoff games and earning that money. I mean, listen, Joe Burrow in his career has as many playoff wins as the entire Bengals organization historically up to this point.
That is worth
so he's
some
got
money.
5, they have 5.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Now that's something that I could bring to the negotiating table and sink my teeth into. A playoff game where you had it all the way in control and we fired the head coach because of it. A guy that hasn't won anything. And we're going to give him the most money in the history of the game. I find that
not
tough
the
to
most.
swallow.
It's not the most.
Tough to swallow.
It's 262.5 over 5. Mahomes is the most at $500 million for that
annually.
So annually, the average annual value of this contract,
make more than anyone
like
else.
Jaylen Brown,
Yes,
is unreal.
It's unreal.
That I will argue that's unreal. But timing is everything. I truly believe next year we're going to have the same conversation. There will be another quarterback. But listen, Robert Griffin III was just saying this, that the quarterback position right now is one of the most valuable it's ever been.
Of course.
And, because the top 10 guys are way better than the bottom 20.
Right.
And that's a big problem.
And just watch San Francisco play the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship without one.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost impossible to win an NFL game.
And listen, so I guess my question about Herbert is he a great quarterback or a good quarterback that could become great? Because I think you need a great quarterback to win championships.
And I don't have the answer to that.
Because I think Jalen Hurts is a very good. I don't know if he's great yet, but Mahomes is great. He knows how to win the big games. That's what I think is that. It's like Tom Brady. Is Tom Brady statistically or physically, when he threw a football, one of the greatest of all time? No, not even close.
Right.
But is he one of the greatest winning quarterbacks of all time? Yes.
Totally worth it if you want to win games.
That's right.
Totally worth it.
That's what I'm talking about with Herbert. So you're hoping the potential wins he can bring you down the road warrant, why we're paying this guy.
And I'm sure Saquon Barkley's telling himself that exact same thing as well when he looks in the mirror and he sees that news today. And then he looks over to the left and he sees that his star left tackle, Andrew Thomas, is going to get $67 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
$117.5 million extension, 5-year deal for Thomas. I love it. I say.
Now he's got to go.
If I'll be like, yo, Andrew, not only are you going to be blocking for me on the field, you're taking me to the club and you're my personal bodyguard. I mean, come on. I feel horrible for Saquon. I feel horrible for him because he's
I don't. I feel bad for Josh Jacobs. Here's a kid that's sitting in the parking lot hoping an extension gets done, and all I got to do is walk into the facility and sign. He finds out it didn't happen, and he turns around and he goes home.
Well,
and he's heartbroken.
As soon as he does sign that to the Raiders, don't be surprised when the left tackle gets triple, if not 6 times as much money guaranteed.
Again, we talked about Trayvon Diggs, though. Moments after Saquon, the news comes out, it's like, hey, this guy who gets beat consistently deep, he just made a whole lot more bank than you. And you're thinking, man, I'm going to run the ball 300 times next year, probably catch another 50 to 75. I'm going to take some